9:43. We're back in regular session. Would you call the roll, please?
We have got Crow. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Right.
Alt. Barons.
Yes.
Spence.
No.
No, you're not here?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not awake, but I'm here.
And Bauer.
I'm not awake, but I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
This is where you're at. I like it.
All right, we're back in regular session. I will accept the motion to approve the appointment of Mia McCannon to the position of acting supervisor of assessments. Mr. Williams, is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
Is there a second? Mr. Whitlow? Do we have any further questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Spence. I'm sorry. Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bentz.
No.
Bowers.
Yes.
And Crow. Yes. Motion carried 15.
Okay. We will move on to the Management Services Committee report. Mr. Barron.
We didn't vote on that.
Oh, excuse me, we have to vote on finish the voting on the rest of the report. There really isn't anything else there.
No.
Call the roll, please.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barons.
Yes.
Bentz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, now we'll move on to the Management Committee report.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, the committee to whom was referred Management Services would beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on July 3rd, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barons, Bowers, Bentz, Crow, and Zumwalt. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake, and Roger Bard. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Bowers to amend the agenda, moving discussion on Grant Street Drainage Project after the bid opening and approve the amended agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake's report included the following. A leak in the jail behind the cells was repaired. Last year, Drake obtained a bid from Servpro to perform a deep clean of the jail. This comes highly recommended from state inspectors to do annually. Due to low population at the jail, Sheriff Clint Brzee has asked Drake to contact Servpro about moving forward with the deep cleaning. Landscape has been done at the animal control building and heating and cooling units are up to date. Trees have been trimmed at the administrative center. Upcoming inspections include fire alarm systems and backflow preventers. Freehill Asphalt will be assessing the parking lots and letting Drake know what to expect for upcoming budget hearings. Recent storms caused a tree to come down at the courthouse. Drake will arrange for removal. Painting of the administrative center is expected to occur late summer, early fall. In regards to the FY 2024 budget, Drake said he is not expecting any major items besides parking lot repairs and reseals. Zumwalt gave an update on the County Farm tiling project. He spoke with Henrik Drainage and the project is complete. Tile maps will be included with their invoice. The committee discussed storage of the tile maps and other county farm documents. The matter will be discussed further at the next management meeting. The committee also discussed the broken tile located at the end of Porter Avenue next to the courthouse. Zumwalt explained the pending drainage project on Grant Street should repair these issues. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported an invoice for the replacement of the air conditioner at the animal control building was received for approximately $7,200. This invoice will be paid from the remaining ARPA funds used to purchase the building. Mitchell Benz questioned the county's future plans to have a veterinarian in the facility. Donna Crow recommended contacting local veterinarian schools to make them aware that we are looking for a veterinarian. County Board Chairman John Schur added the main issue is that many of the candidates are seeking salaries much higher than what the county is offering. Schur continues to pursue the option of adding on to the maintenance shed for placement of the morgue. Schur met with City of Watseka Building Inspector Eric Brandt, and a portion of the land is considered in a floodplain. Schur said we can go before the City Council and request a waiver, which will allow us to build in that area. We can also hire a surveyor to measure the elevations. One bid was received by Martin Development and Construction, Inc. for fencing and doors at the animal control. However, the full bid was not submitted. It is moved by Crowe and seconded by Benson to take no action on the bid received pending presentation of a complete bid for fence and dog doors at the animal control building to be submitted at the county board meeting on July 11. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee discussed the Grant Street drainage project and the costs associated with the project. The committee believed the cost of the project was to be shared with the City of Watseka. Committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Bowers and seconded by Zumwalt to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. During old business, the committee discussed the area of farmland that has been considered wetlands. Schur noted the United States Supreme Court has changed its definition on wetlands, and this particular area is no longer determined a wetland. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Crowe and seconded by Bowers to adjourn at 9:55 a.m. Motion carried, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Management Service Committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Williams. Do we have any questions or comments regarding the report? Mrs. Crowe?
These are a few housekeeping things with the minutes. On page 1, landscaping has been done at the animal. We did not spend any money to do any landscaping. The landscaping has been cleaned up, right?
I believe
So
that is correct.
I'd like that to be accurate, because I always think in the future when we look back, we didn't spend any money on it, technically. I just want to reiterate that discussion that we had, how important it is to maintain a file on tile and the farm things. John Zumwalt, and I thank him very much, spent hours in the courthouse basement locating and looking at books. And it might be 25 years until we have to look at that tile map, but we need to be able to go and put our hands on it, so that record keeping. And I would like to add on page 2, Schur continues to pursue the option of adding on the maintenance shed. John, you used a specific term in the meeting, a letter of, and I cannot remember the rest of it.
It's a letter of amendment to the floodplain.
Right, so I think we should use that term in there. We can request a waiver, but a letter of amendment. I think we should use that term in there, so we know exactly what we did. And do we have a full bid to consider today?
Do we have what?
The full bid, yes, it's here, yeah.
Amanda didn't bring it to you?
No, I didn't receive it. I'll go see it. Don't talk, anyone.
He did turn it in, and he turned it into Amanda. I thought Amanda had turned it into Britain's office, but she'll check.
Okay, that's all I've got, just those basic housekeeping things.
I will tell you that yesterday I did make arrangements with the Crowe Surveying Company to come and survey that area over there. It's gonna cost us $1,000 to get that done.
Anything else they need to look at while they're down here? Is there any other drains that they need to look at while they're down here?
Don't really believe so. In fact, the surveying that was done on this other Grant Street drainage project has a lot of information on it that leads us to think that what we're talking about on maintenance is gonna work. We still need to do the separate deal. That will include preparation of the elevation
I don't know.
certificate that's required.
I know you said not to talk. They don't listen to
Did
it.
Mr. Kraus indicate when he might be able to get here?
Well, they said that they're about 3 weeks out on their schedule. I urged them to do it sooner than that because we'd like to get moving on the project. And he said they have other jobs here in Watsika and he thought maybe they'd be able to squeeze us in. They're gonna let me know at least a day in advance so that I could be there and kind of guide them through what it is that we're wanting to do and so forth.
You gonna open it or am I? Okay, Martin Development Construction. Proposal to Iroquois County Animal Control. Description of proposed work, fence, install chain link fence per layout provided by Director of County Maintenance, approximately 184 linear feet of fence. Fence to have privacy slats, fence to be 6 foot high with 1 gate. Fence protecting AC units to be 4 foot high with gates and no privacy slats, approximately 33 linear feet. Bid amount for that, $19,500. Description of work proposed, block and doors. Demo existing block wall and reset block for 4 17-inch wide by 34-inch high openings. Install 4 guillotine doors in new openings. Doors supplied by owner. Bid amount $9,100. Total bid amount $28,600. Note all prevailing wage requirements have been taken into account.
And just a reminder, I did have the tribal consistency funds that I'm getting another $50,000 for that this fall. We've already received $50,000. We are planning, and the plans for that were to do some updates to the animal control building as well as paint the admin building.
And do you recall what the bid was to paint the admin? Was it 41,000?
It was very close to that, Donna, but let me look for sure.
So the tribal consistency or funds,
We got a total of $100,000.
100,000,
Mhm.
so.
We could receive the first 50 and the other 50 will be here this fall.
So the admin center and if we were to accept this bid of 28,600 would put us at 69,600 total of those funds.
And those funds have specific things they can be used for, one of which is building improvements for the county.
Yes, it was $41,600. Yes, the funds can be used to update governmental buildings or make improvements to.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid at $28,600 for the fence and dog boarders at the animal control.
Second by Mr. Geiger.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Hughes,
But I'll wait
Mr.
for
Hughes
it.
did. John,
John Hughes.
Mr. Hughes did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
According to that bid, then we have to also supply the guillotine doors, which we don't know what they'll cost.
Guillotine doors, we're looking at 4 of those doors and they're approximately $900 each, yes.
Right.
And that's for the safety of the officers. To give you an example, we have an aggressive dog right now that they're taking special precautions with, but this way they can open the guillotine doors, let the dog out to do its business, get its exercise, clean up its surroundings, feed and water, and then let it back in with no contact, which in turn hopefully will decrease our liability costs.
Which is gonna put us at
Right.
74.
That's
There's 74,000.
Yeah.
total amount.
Yeah.
And that that was the only bid received.
We had a hard time getting that, but
Yeah, and we had to ask for that to be redone a couple times.
I guess it sounds like a lot of money. I guess one of the things the board needs to consider is the value received and so forth. Is it worth it to do this project for that kind of money?
right now I have 3 part-time officers that are walking these dogs and getting very little pay to do so, as well as cleaning their kennels, feeding and watering them, and they're doing this twice a day. So I know it seems like it's a lot of money, and for sure it is a lot of money. However, keeping in mind the hardship it's been to keep these animals with the limited help that we've had and trying to search out vetting services and whatnot, the goal is to try to improve the building and the processes. Hopefully we can attract somebody to come in. I'm in talks with 2 different vets, trying to get them to use us as a satellite clinic so we can also utilize their services. So hopefully making it a more appealing opportunity to bring somebody in.
Mr. Bowers?
Does this include a floor for this concrete or is it gravel?
Outside?
Yeah.
No, it will
So-
remain the grass, and they will continue to have to do the cleanup outside.
Okay, but we can dig out, right? We were looking at that.
It's a possibility.
So the fence
But I mean,
specification doesn't have a below the ground part of the fence barrier.
No,
Somebody needs to be watching the dogs when they're out there.
yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions or comments on the motion? Not the clerk will call the roll, please.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart,
No.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
No.
Watts, Whitlow,
No.
Williams,
No.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt, Barons,
Yes.
Benz,
Yes.
Bowers,
No.
Crow,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Geiger.
No.
That fence that they mentioned.
We have a tie vote.
That goes to the runner.
Goes to the dog.
Tie goes to the status quo. Status quo is there is no fence.
I vote that.
Have the majority. I guess there's obviously some serious questions about how much money something like this costs. Maybe we need to reconsider some of it and see if there's a better way that we can, better solution. That probably would be my thinking on it. So maybe the committee will reconsider the whole project and try and come up with something better. I think that's probably what.
And I guess some of my frustrations come in, we've been talking about this for 2 months, and have been talking about it with very little assistance. Trying to do the best that I can as a finance manager / animal control officer, or administrator at this point. So what I'm asking for is if we are going to not approve this, for some serious consideration of assistance in getting a project like this completed.
Could we bring names of fence people that are interested in going out of it, maybe? And then we can bring-
Absolutely, we've put it out for bid twice now.
Is there architectural drawings or specification drawings on these?
That would cost far more than what we've already gotten bids for. We've been down that road prior.
I'll see what I can do, purchase.
So, and that's just it, is, Chris Drake has helped with this project, going into yet again another 3rd month of talking about getting a fence up for these officers to walk, or to safely, make sure these dogs are cared for. I just asked for for assistance in getting the project completed.
I don't think there's any resistance to that. I just think the bidder the only bidder that submitted the bid, I believe, has a history of the pricing being a little on the high side. We went through that with the work process a few months ago back. I guess that's part of the thinking that looks to me apparent that what's going on here. Is there some way we can find another bidder that might be a solution?
Yeah. You open that bid, so their bid is already out in public.
Chris has it.
There's been 3 months worth
Chris
of
has everything.
people now coming up and saying, hey, I can get you bids. Well, where were you 3 months ago?
My concern is that when the people are walking these dogs, and we know how some dogs are pretty much crazy, we get into a dog bite situation, the lawsuits there could be pretty crazy.
Could end up spending more than what this would have cost.
Exactly.
I don't believe that animal control wardens are eligible to sue the county.
They're employees of the county. They're on our payroll.
Well, the
As part of
concern,
their job description, you can't sue somebody for doing your job.
Well, you can, it's just that it wouldn't be successful.
But it would be costly.
Well, we'd have to defend it if somebody sues it.
They're certainly eligible under workers' comp.
Well, as I said earlier, I don't think there's any opposition to putting this project in place, but I just think the cost is not in line with what at least for myself, and apparently a number of other board members here, but it's just a little bit too much. So, if we can get a better price on the whole thing, I think we can move ahead.
Am I done?
Yep. We'll move on to the ARPA committee report, Mr. Duquette,
We need to vote on management.
okay? Roll call. We're gonna vote on the management report.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Got my. Okay, we're voting on the management report.
Yep.
Okay. McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
No.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bunce,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crow. Yes.
Yes.
Ducat, Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, ARPA committee, Mr. Duquette.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, and committee to whom is referred American Rescue Plan Adequate Bay to lead submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on July 3rd, 2023 at 10:03 a.m. Members present were Duquette, Alt, Crow, Awful, and Sure. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Evan Shockley, and Peggy Shockley. With Village of Buckley, Larry Johnson, with Fur Graham Engineering Environmental, Dave Glockus with Feeding Time Foods, Quentin Schomburg with Schomburg's Fine Trim, Audra Schomburg with Affordable Arts Boutique, and Sherry Johnson with Watsika Park District. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Donna Crow and seconded by Charlie Hall to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. The committee began reviewing of the ARPA applications as follows. Application number 99, Watsika Park District, Sherry Johnson put the Watsika Park District project out for bid and received 2 bids. One was accepted at $565,000, which included all electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. The Watsika Park District received $250,000 low-interest loan from their financial institution. An additional $200,000 has been set aside for the project. They also received approximately $14,000 from a CARES grant. Due to the approved bid not being in Iroquois County, the committee asked Johnson to contact the second bidder to see if they will match the other bid and report back to the committee. Application number 49, Affordable Arts, per the committee's request. Audra Schomburg with Affordable Arts presented an additional bid for the tuck pointing. The bidder is located in Chicago, and their bid was almost double the local bid received. Also, the bidder will not be able to begin work until next summer. Schomburg received $6,000 in PPP loans and has approximately $11,000 set aside, but plans to use these funds for window replacements. Application number 64, Feed and Time Foods. David Golkus of Feed and Time Foods is requesting $48,000 for a new roof and doors and possible building addition. The committee requested Mr. Golkus get bids for the roof, doors, and building addition and return them to the committee. Golkus stated that he also has funds set aside to contribute to the project. Application number 48, Schaumburg's Fine Trim. Quentin Schaumburg with Schaumburg's Fine Trim is requesting $42,000 for concrete and a building addition. The committee requested an additional bid and information regarding PPE loans received. Application 122, Village of Buckley Sewer Plan. Evan Shockley with the Village of Buckley introduced Larry Johnson with Fergram. Mr. Johnson gave a presentation to the committee about water and wastewater infrastructure. County Board Chairman John Sheriff recommended the Village of Buckley approach funding their project at a federal level. He said many communities in the county are facing the same dilemma, and the county board is more than willing to endorse their project. Application 112, First United Methodist Church of Watseka. The First United Methodist Church of Watseka is requesting $48,280 for tuck pointing. They have provided one bid and will need to provide a second bid. The committee agreed to refer First United Methodist Church of Watseka along with other churches that have applied for ARPA funds to IDA Director Angel Crawford. Application 135, Watseka Area Food Pantry. The Watseka Area Food Pantry is requesting $75,000 for food and supplies. Due to the lack of funding, the committee is unable to approve the request at this time. Application number 92, the Iroquois County Morgue. Sure noted that he is still in the process of pursuing a location for the morgue. A surveyor will need to examine the site at the maintenance shed before moving forward. Hazard pay for Iroquois County employees remain on the agenda for discussion at a later date. The next ARPA committee meeting will be held July 31st at 10 a.m. There was no old business. There was no old business twice. There was no new business, so it's further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Scher and seconded by Awful to adjourn 11:34. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which was respectfully submitted. I move for its adoption.
The motion on the floor to approve the ARPA committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Bauer. Are there any questions or comments on the report? Mr. Watts.
How is it that the $75,000 for the Watseka Food Pantry is unable to approve due to lack of funding? You got $565,000 for the Watseka Park District is being considered. How does that work? Why is that?
Go ahead, Don.
We didn't award any money at all at the meeting. In light of projects that are being considered, and I use the word earmarked, which Jill hates for me to do, but technically, if we were to award funds, we're down to about, I hate to say no, about $80,000. And we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. We're gonna have a working meeting, I think I just said, in August, and to determine some priorities. Now, we're not considering $565,000 for the park district. The number is much smaller, and when we talk to her about funding that they have available and funding that they're considering getting a loan for, the number would be far less. I think they asked for $200,000, and the number that we would consider would be even far less than that. So we're not considering that. One of the biggest considerations right now is this camera system for the county. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
One other thing, Scott, we did was already in the city of Watseka for a food pantry we already bought that food pantry was it 2 freezers?
No, that was the breadbasket that we bought.
Which is a food pantry.
But we did talk about other funding that is available to food pantries. That thought there was another option. And we are sending out some letters to churches because we haven't addressed any of the church requests, and there are monies available through IDA, and we're also sending some of the individual people to IDA where there's funding available as well. So we're hoping to do a follow-up at the end with everybody to make a suggestion, or at least let them know it's closed, it's done, it's over, but we're not quite there yet. Is that correct, Mr. Dugan?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a question, Mr. McTaggart?
Just to be clear, the federal government's, I assume, taken any qualifications or rules off this stuff now? I mean, is that,
No, there's still a whole pile of rules.
They modified it
Yeah,
quite a bit.
so the first time it came
because it
out,
just seems sporadic and way off base from where this all began, right?
yeah, well, that's what happened, so they gave us one set of rules. Jill and I went through all that, and then they threw us another set of rules. And so then it changed again.
We do have a picture of the county with where we've really tried to make sure all areas of the county receive something. We also have a pie chart that says how much has gone to government, which is about 39% at this point, which has gone to individual, there's division. What are the other, I can't remember the other.
The biggest thing we've done is we diversified throughout the county.
Right.
But none of it has anything to do with COVID. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what. Just to be 1,000% clear.
Set of rules.
Some of it does have flush.
There are exceptions. The exceptions are going. Yeah, by accident.
Not by accident. Next week, we have. You have something else, Mrs. Crowe?
It's just a informational.
I know you hate it, Michael.
It makes me very, very sad that we do not have the funding to help, like the village of Buckley with their sewer program, because that's infrastructure that makes Iroquois County more attractive, and it's, 2023 and our village Buckley is still operating without a sewer system, and some of that waste is going into creeks and ponds, and some of it is becoming offensive to neighbors, and we've tried to rectify water and sewer problems and help throughout the county to make Iroquois County a better place.
A lot of other communities in the county in the same.
Correct.
Right, well, I mean, is that actually a problem though, Eric? Maybe you can chime in here. Is the sewage problem in Iroquois County markedly worse than what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I just can't imagine with
Well, that's a
declining
good question.
population that we have a larger issue than what we had.
That's a good question, because the short answer to your question is sewage is a problem. And we've had, over the course of the past, say, 10 years, numerous complaints from different places within the village of Buckley. The village of Buckley has gone through a couple different avenues in an attempt to get funding to install a sewer system. We've seen in other villages throughout Iroquois County where they were eventually forced to and had to take out loans or incur debt, or some were able to get other grants to install a sewer system. City of Watsika, Clifton, Milford, Onarga as examples. Any town that does not have a sewer system typically has private septic systems. And modern code for installing private septic systems, when we inspect, there has to be enough footprint, and that's often where we run into problems within towns such as Buckley. When a septic system does go bad, which they all go bad, you have to replace it. And if you don't have enough space, you have to get a specialized septic system, which for that private landowner is exceptionally expensive. So it is safer and large for towns to install sewer systems as opposed to relying on private septic systems, especially when there is a history of them failing. That was a long answer to your question, but in short, there is documented evidence that the village of Buckley is struggling with this.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments on the ARPA committee report? None, the clerk will call the roll.
McTaggart,
Yes.
Awful. Yep. Did you say yes, Barb? Yes. Sorry, thank you. Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Fence,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe, Ducat,
Yes.
Tiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Okay, Health Committee, Mrs. Apple.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, your committee to whom was referred health would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on July 5th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Awful, Ducat, Hughes, and Whitlow. Doug Geiger was absent. Also present, ICPHD Administrator Eric Cece. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Ducat and seconded by Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Ducat and seconded by Whitlow to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. ICPHD Administrator Eric Cece distributed the monthly summary report of programs. Environmental Health reported 2 new permits issued and 21 temporary permits issued. A food complaint from a former employee of an establishment was looked into and was not verified. Environmental Health continues with West Nile surveillance. There haven't been any positive cases in Iroquois County. Community Health reported 31 COVID-19 immunizations. There were 9 animal bites reported, 1 cat, 8 dogs, with all testing negative for rabies. COVID-19 investigations have decreased. The tuberculosis program reported 1 new case. The jail program included 13 inmates being assessed. The Senior Services Department has a new employee that recently went to training and is also doing in-field training. CC also reported the county is still considered to be in a severe drought. This status is updated each Thursday. CC and County Board Chairman John Schur are still seeking a replacement for the EMA Public Health Preparedness position. June 30th ended the state fiscal year. The Local Health Protection LHP grant application has not been received from the state yet. CC explained more funding was added at the state level to the program, and the state is likely waiting until their budget is finalized before sending out the applications. CC is unsure on how much more money the health department will be receiving. Also, a new grant has become available, and the health department is eligible for $300,000 to $350,000. The SIPA grant is a 5-year grant meant to bolster public health infrastructure through staffing. An application will be completed and will likely fund 1 additional salary over the course of 5 years. There was no old business, there was no new business, and there was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Hughes and seconded by Ducat to adjourn at 9:13 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the health committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Williams, do we have any questions or comments on the health committee report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Awful,
Yes.
Schur,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
You said yes, I'm sorry. Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Ducat,
Yes.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes, McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Okay, tax zoning committee, Mr. Ducat.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, the committee to whom was referred tax zoning would beg to leave submit the following report from matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on July 5th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Members present were Ducat, Awful, Hughes, and Whitlow. Doug Geiger was absent. Also present, County Clerk Brianne, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Bugler, Treasurer Kurt Albers, Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Feller, and Loda Township Assessor Jim Sherrill. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Awful and seconded by Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Hughes to pay the claims, subject to the county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Rian Suber reported the final multiplier of .9344 was received from the Department of Revenue after the last board meeting. The county clerk's office wishes finished tax extension enrolled to the treasurer's office on Friday morning. Tax bills are currently being approved in the treasurer's office and are expected to be mailed at the end of the week or early next week. On Monday, the recording fee increased was implemented and the county clerk's office began collecting an additional $9 on recorded documents. Lastly, elected judge salaries might have to be addressed once Suber confirms the law, what the law states. Suber will discuss a $20 pay increase with the Finance Committee. Treasurer Kurt Albers reported test property tax bills have been printed and been verified. Albers hopes to begin printing the bills on Friday with tentative due dates of August 15th and September 15th. Albers also reported the treasurer's office has a vacancy for deputy clerk. Supervisor assessment, Bob Yergler, reported the assessment office currently has a vacancy for a deputy clerk. Yergler is retiring in August. Planning and zoning administrator Julie Feller presented her monthly report to the committee as follows. Building permits, June 2023. Agricultural 7, residential 20, wind tower 0. Building permits, FY 2023, residential 66, agricultural 13, wind tower 0. Building inspections, June 2023 was 108. Zoning Board of Appeals, none. Julie also spoke to the committee about investing in a software for performing background checks for solicitor applications. The solicitor application needs to be added to the county's website. Trajectory Energy would like to present to the Zoning Board of Appeals this month. Feller addressed setting up fees and fines for the individuals that build without permits. Lastly, Feller informed the committee of an issue with Kloss Specialties in Cissna Park. They are located in a floodplain and had dirt delivered from outside of the floodplain. Kloss Specialties should have received a letter from the Department of Natural Resources informing them that they need to pay for an engineering study. Feller said they may still need to remove the dirt once the engineering study is complete. There was no old business. During new business, it was noted the updated ordinances for wind and solar need to be posted on the county's website. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Hughes to adjourn at 9:44 a.m. Motion carried by voice vote, all which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
We have a motion to approve the tax zoning committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Williams. Do we have any questions or comments about the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barron.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yeah.
Awful. Yes. Motion carried 16-0.
Okay, Judicial and Public Safety Committee, Mr. Whitlow.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Board, your committee to whom is referred Judicial and Public Safety would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on July 5th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Members present were Whitlow, Hughes, Bentz, and Williams. Scott Watts was absent. Also present, Sheriff Clint Brzee, Coroner Bill Cheatham, Probation Supervisor Bart King, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, and ETS Director Eric Raymond. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Mitchell Bentz and seconded by Raymond Williams to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Sheriff Clint Brzee presented his monthly report to the committee as follows. Lincoln Longfellow was hired for the open corrections position. Due to lower daily population, ServPro will be scheduled to complete a deep clean of the jail. CPC tablet system will be replacing Citrus as inmate phone system for jail in late July. Deputy Riefenberg is doing well at the academy. Deputy Ravens will be transitioning from FTO to being on his own within a few weeks. Brzee is talking with Iroquois Mental Health Center about starting a SMART recovery program for addictions in the jail. It includes workbooks and session meetings with a counselor and virtual meetings. Inmates being released can continue the program by attending local weekly meetings along with virtual meetings. Court Security Officer Kurt Westerfield is resigning on July 19th. Brzee will be looking to fill his position. 44 arrests, intakes in June, 30 male, 12 female, 2 juveniles. June jail population, daily population average 21.3, average length stay 53.02 days, 13 male, 2 female, 1 ankle bracelet. June medical, 3 hospital emergency room prompt care visits this month, 12 mental health visits, 14 nurse practitioner visits, 13 inmate medical and intake exams, 3 dentist visits, 1 IMH X-ray, 3 telehealth visits, 1 Dr. Fry Kankakee, 1 IMH Milford Clinic, 1 Gibson Orthopedics. Jail overtime in June, 20 would be, 96 hours paid, 179.5 hours to comp. Part-time hours for June, 77. Coroner Bill Cheatham reported cremation permits have increased from $50 to $100 as of July 1st. Benson noted the management committee continues to look into options for placement of the morgue. Probation supervisor Barb King reviewed the probation and court services activity report for June with the committee. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report for June to the committee for their review. A total of $47,689.10 was received in fines and fees. $4,228.05 was received from pay court and $2,374.50 was received from iDrop. ETS Director Eric Raymond distributed his monthly report to the committee. The new generation 911 phone system was installed next week with a go live date in mid-July. Training for the new phone system will be next week. The phone system was mostly paid for by grant funds. Budget discussions will begin later this month. Lastly, Raymond reported the fire ban was lifted today. There was no old business, there was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Bentz to pay the judicial and public safety claims, including additional claims submitted by Coroner Bill Cheatham, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Williams and seconded by Hughes to adjourn the meeting at 3:17 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote. All is respectfully submitted, signed by members present. I would move for its adoption.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Judicial and Public Safety Committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Bennett, do we have any questions or comments on the report? Hearing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Behrens?
Yes.
Bent?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crowe? Yes. Ducat?
Yes.
Geiger?
Yes.
Hughes? McGinnis?
Yes.
McTaggart?
Yes.
Awful?
Yes.
And Sure.
Yes. Okay, Finance IT Committee, Mr. McTaggart.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred Finance IT would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on July 6, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were McTaggart, Behrens, Bowers, Geiger, and McGinnis. Alton Watts were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Sheriff Clint Brzee, County Clerk Suver, Treasurer Albers, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, ICPHD Administrator Eric Sacy, ETS Director Eric Raymond, Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Feller, Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance, and Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Bowers and seconded by Behrens to approve the agenda. The motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance reported on the cybersecurity renewal, which was less than a $500 increase. Munyon provided the committee with a spreadsheet listing all the county buildings, their values, content values, and annual premiums. In previous meetings, Munyon and the committee discussed options for the old courthouse museum and administrative center. ICRMT ran a cost replacement estimator to make sure all buildings are being insured properly. Munyon will get other pricing also for the committee to review before a decision is made. Susie Werner with Homestar Insurance reported that the current medical loss ratio is 91%. Although this is still high, Werner anticipates a good renewal rate for this year. The department heads gave their monthly reports. They are as follows. ICPHD Administrator Eric Sacy reported the state's fiscal year began July 1, and the health department is expecting all of their normal grant funds. Treasurer Albers reported property tax bills are expected to be mailed next week. Albers has done research on interest rates and will be moving money to the Illinois Fund at over 5% interest. County Clerk Brianne Suver reported a .9344 multiplier was received after the last board meeting. This will bring assessed values down. Legislature has passed an election judge pay increase of an additional $20. Suver will be presenting a resolution at the county board meeting for this increase. In regards to grants, the state fiscal year began on July 1, and Suver has not received any information on grant amounts as of yet. Lastly, election equipment was received on Friday. Sheriff Brzee reported Lincoln Longfellow was hired for the open correctional officer position. The Sheriff's Department received one of the 2 grants applied for the mandatory 5-year upgrade of ballistic vests for patrol. Total cost of the new vest is approximately $33,000 with heavy rifle plates. The grant received is $7,000. Brzee gave an update on the telephone upgrade for the jail and sheriff's office, stating the wiring is run, equipment is installed, and they're waiting on AT&T. An email was received on July 3rd stating Brzee will be contacted soon with a shipping date for the body scanner. Court Security Officer Westfield has submitted his resignation. A meeting on July 11th will be held with Motorola to receive a proposal for Starcom radios. The inmate phone system will be switched to CPC tablet system in late July. County Board Chairman John Schur announced the burn ban in Iroquois County was lifted yesterday, but it is recommended that individuals still exercise caution with open burning. Discussion was held regarding implementing a background check system. Brzee stated he is unable to perform background checks through LEAD system unless it is for a criminal justice applicant. There are paid services that can be utilized that also require fingerprinting. Many counties do a judici search on the applicant. Circuit Clerk Hines added her office can be called and a more extensive judici search can be done for their county. Chad McGinnis and Planning and Zoning Administrator Feller provided alternate options for background checks. Continued discussion was held on the starting wages for Iroquois County employees. Several department heads stressed their need to hire employees but cannot due to the low starting wage. It was suggested to have department heads bring possible revenue sources and budget cuts to the next finance meeting. Brzee also entertained the idea of seeking a grant writer for the county, and their salary can be based on the grants delivered. The committee reviewed claims. It was moved by Behrens and seconded by Bowers to pay the claims subject for county board approval. Roll call vote was taken. The motion carried. During old business, ETS Director Raymond requested an update on the backup internet. He stated the need for backup internet is essential. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Bowers and seconded by McGinnis to adjourn at 10:02 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which was respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Finance IT Committee report. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Geiger. Do we have any questions or comments about the report? Mr. Watts.
The report says discussion was held regarding implementing a background check system. For who?
For who? It would be for every situation where that's required, which could include people that have applied for a solicitor license. It could be for new county employees. Just really any time that we have a need to do that.
I wondered what the old multiplier was. Was it .9344?
Well, the one last year, we ended up getting a 1. The tentative multiplier this year was, I think, .9037. And then during Board of Review, Bob made a mass assessment correction, I guess is what it would be called, to get the multiplier to the .9344. But 1 is what we strive for, of a multiplier of 1.
All right.
Every year we get a new one.
Right, and 1 has been the standard for years and years, as long as I know.
That's what you like to have.
Right.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? It said here in the minutes that you were bringing something to the board for approval.
Election judges.
No, not yet. It hadn't been signed yet, so not. It'll be, yeah. But
Very
that's
good.
a mandatory increase.
If there's no further questions or comments, why call the roll, please.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
McTaggart.
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
And Watts.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Transportation and Highway Committee, Mr. Rawl. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board. Your committee to whom was referred Transportation and Highway would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Iroquois County Highway Building on July 7, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Alt, Zumwalt, Crow, McGinnis, and Williams. Also present, County Engineer Greg Perkinson, Assistant County Engineer Doug Butzel, and County Board Chairman John Scher. The meeting was called to order. There was no public comments. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Williams to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. The claims and financial reports for the month was reviewed. It was moved by Williams and seconded by McGinnis to pay the bills and subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. County Highway, $152,042. County Bridge, $30,395. County Matching, $9,538. TBP, $243,164. County MFT, $110,432. Township MFT, $1,497,970. During new business, County Engineer Greg Perkinson presented an intergovernmental agreement between Iroquois and Fort Highway Departments regarding the exchange of manpower and equipment. Perkinson said no action will be taken today, as he would like the committee to thoroughly read through the agreement. Perkinson noted that there are many upcoming staff changes within the next year in both counties, and this agreement could assist with those changes. The agreement has been discussed with County Board Chairman John Scher and expires December 31, 2023. Down and crew questioning tracking of equipment hours and how potential workers' compensation claims will be handled. Perkinson explained the hours can be tracked if necessary, and the home county would handle any workers' compensation claims. During the old business, Williams discussed changing the date and time of future highway committee meetings. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Zumwalt to change the Transportation Highway Committee meeting from Friday 9 a.m. to Thursday at 8:30 a.m., subject to coordinating with the Finance Committee. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Next Highway Committee meeting will be tentatively be held on Thursday, August 3rd at 8:30 a.m. I might add, it will still be at the county road building. Also, during the old business, Crow asked for an update on resumes received for the county engineer position. Chair stated there has been no additional activity. As there was no further business to come before the meeting, it was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Crow, adjourned at 9:47 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which was respectfully submitted, and I move for the acceptance of this committee report. Thank you.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the Transportation and Highway Committee report. Do we have a second? Review. Are there any questions or comments on the report? I would add a little bit on the motion made at the meeting to change the meeting date and time of the Highway Committee. If this was goes into effect, while we would be wanting to do is to have the Finance Committee meeting, instead of beginning at 9 a.m., we begin at 9:30. So this is something that can be discussed by the Finance Committee, and okay, then that's what we'll be doing next month. So I guess what we're saying is it's up to the Finance Committee to make that decision.
I'm gonna make.
My money,
Yeah.
Just for 1 month?
Now would be a permanent change, unless there's some problem or, whatever that requires an adjustment. Say anything like that, you're trying it out on the basis to see if it'll work. That's permanent.
Can I-
Anything you wanted to add to that?
Only other comment, I got a call from Greg Perkins this morning, and from the sound on him on the phone, he better stay home. He had a bad sore throat this morning. I hope we haven't been too hard on him so far. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions or comments, then we'll call the roll. Look, wait a minute.
So on August 3rd, we have the finance committee. Does that mean that one's going to be at 9:30?
Yes. There's a highway committee meeting out at the highway department at 8:30. That meeting usually takes about a half hour, and that will give Amanda time to fun things up there, get over here in time to take the minutes of the finance committee at 9:30. Okay.
All right, we're voting on the highway committee report. Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes, McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
and Whitlow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on your agenda, you have listed the requirements for this month, so we have a motion to approve those appointments. Awful, second by Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments regarding the appointments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and the motion passes. Next is claims. Everybody should have received a copy of the claims. We have one additional claim to come before us this morning. That covers the County Farm Drain Tile Project. That claim is in the amount of $109,500. So Football has the map of the drain tile that was installed and so forth, so, and have a motion to approve the claims, including this claim. Mrs. Crowe, you making that motion?
I am.
Okay, is there a second? Mr. Williams, a second. Is there any questions or comments about the claims? Mrs. Crowe?
And that claim for the tiling directly matches the bid we received.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I just wanted it correct.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, would you call the roll, please?
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Geiger,
Yes.
Hughes. Sorry, McGinnis,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
Awful, yes, Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
and Williams. Motion carried.
Okay, do we have any old business to come before the board this morning? Do we have any new business? Under new business, I'd like to announce that Mr. Stacy and I have reached an agreement with Scott Anderson regarding the EMA DHEP position. He'll be starting on August 1st. Are there any other new business?
Where's that Scott Anderson from?
What, Sika? Any other questions or any other new business? If none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Hall, second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.